Also living for the people who are connected to you. And if you don't take seriously the weight of the people who are coming, you will live carelessly and self-centered, and you will mismanage the doors that God gives you. Preach, man of God. Hey everybody, welcome. I like that intro, Ray. That makes you want to just do this. Come on, invite somebody on. It is time for E3, and I'm crazy excited about what God's going to say today. I'm excited about what we're going to talk about. Oh, I see I got it on. All right, so I'm excited about what's about to happen. So come on, invite people on. Today is really big for me because what I really feel called to talk about is about building confidence. And it's funny because I think that one of the things that far too many of us struggle with is self-confidence, you know, and we kind of discourage it because we talk about you can become arrogant and that kind of thing, and there may be some truth to that, but I do not believe that anybody does anything significant without confidence. You gotta have confidence. You gotta be able. You gotta be able to look at your life, see where you are, and then take some risk and move forward. You got to be confident, right? And so that's what I want to talk about. So I need everybody inviting somebody right now. Just invite. Let's get the numbers up tonight. I'm the reason why sometimes it takes me a while to get talking is because I'm actually inviting people. So I'm just going to invite some people. I always try to invite family members and some people that I think will be helpful. So everybody join me just in inviting people tonight. And I think it's going to be a great blessing for you tonight. So you know what? And typically I'm kind of conservative in who I invite, but I think I'm going to invite some different people tonight. Some people I would not normally invite, I'm going to invite tonight. Yeah, some people I would normally invite, I'm going to invite tonight. All right. So let's get ready to get rocking and rolling. I'm really excited about the possibility of where we can go tonight with this because I really believe that there's something really extraordinary that's going to come out of this. Okay, I'm gonna invite a couple more people. And then I'm going to be done. All right. And then we're going to jump right in. Okay. Got him. And let's see. Couple of more. Got him. Yeah. And let me see. Yeah. I'll invite him. Yeah. I'll invite him. Yeah. Yeah. I'll invite him. Yeah. All right. Okay, so let's talk. So let's jump in. And again, everybody invite somebody because I think this is going to be real helpful. And I still got a little sniffles, but I'm feeling much better. So I want anybody. Yeah, I'm feeling much better. So I want to talk about building self-confidence. Now, reality is I sent this to him a little later. I sent this to Ray a little later, and so because I sent it to him later. I don't know if he's not gonna. It's gonna probably be a little challenging to put it up tonight. So, but this whole idea of living with confidence, right? Building self-confidence, of learning how to live your life governed by this sense that you are going somewhere, that you've got a number of things on your plate to get done. But so it's about more than just being busy, right? It's really about, watch this, self-confidence is a positive attitude about your skills and your abilities. Oh, he got it up, my man. It's a positive attitude about your skills and your abilities, right? It's built upon a healthy self-awareness. Now, I want to stop there, and I kind of want to push this thought. Your awareness of who you are, self-awareness is major. If you're challenged with your own self-awareness, you're going to find yourself unable to see the good about you, which is necessary for you to try certain things. And I need you to get this. When you have a negative or unhealthy self-awareness, when you have a negative attitude about your abilities, your skills, your presence in the earth, when your perception of yourself doesn't align with the perception of God, okay, I'll spiritualize it for you, because we're made in the image of God. We're made in the image of God. And when your perception of yourself doesn't align with the perception that God has of you, then what ends up happening oftentimes is that you end up incapable of rising to the next level, because your perception of yourself does not match the perception that God has of you. And so there are people who will never do anything extraordinary because their perception of themselves works against God's plan and purpose for their life, right? Their perception of themselves works against God's plan for their life. And so when someone wakes up every day and sees the negative about themselves, and when someone wakes up every day and sees the negative about their life, or when someone wakes up every day and they don't like where they are, and they don't like where they work, and they don't like who they're around, then what ends up happening is that all of that feeds into a negative perception about their life. And so one of the things that is important is that this idea of self-confidence is a positive attitude about your skills and your abilities, right? But here's the power of it. You set realistic expectations and goals. You communicate assertively, and you can handle criticism, because you see all of that as filtering in to the strengthening of who you are. I need everybody to invite somebody. It's about to go real deep tonight. It's about to go real deep, because this idea of self-confidence is major, because one of the things that the enemy has done a remarkable job of, the enemy's done a remarkable job of making God's people not believe we're capable. Right? Making us believe that we're not capable. And because we don't believe we're capable, we don't do the work that gives us the capacity to transcend limitations. Because we don't see ourselves as capable, we don't put the work in that allows us to transcend limitations. And so one of the things that I've discovered in my life is the value of rising above the limitations that others have set, and sometimes the limitations that I set for myself. Okay, let's go deeper. So I set expectations and goals. I just don't go through life. I actually believe that I can set goals and I can achieve them. I'm willing to be confident in how I communicate. And then you couple all of that with the fact that when I am corrected, or when criticism comes my way, I'm able to embrace criticism. And there are times when I'm able to see aspects about my life that I need to work on. And I allow the people in my life to help me sharpen that and to improve in that area. You ready? So how do you build self-confidence? Well, it's a whole lot of ways that you can do it. But Pastor Dennis, let me give you a couple of ways. One, commit to actionable life items. Commit to actionable actionable life terms, items. I said, got terms in my head. Commit to actionable life items. Now, I stuck the word life in between actuable items because normally, actuable and items are together. But I put life because I want you to commit. What does that mean? What does that mean? Actuable life items. It means that you commit to things that directly impact your life and you see it as executional. You see it as potential. You see it as possible. You don't commit to stuff that you don't see as possible. And you don't commit to stuff that you don't think is going to make you better at who you are and what you're called and created to do. You don't commit yourself to stuff that listen, I don't need to make as a commitment. I don't need to make as a commitment that I want to slam a basketball in a 10-foot goal. Right? I don't want to watch this, because when the actuable items, watch this, J. Scott Cotton, and you're the leadership guru. When the actuable items are not possible, you're taking energy from what you should be investing in what's possible, and you're investing it in that which is impossible for you. And now you're creating negativity in your own awareness of your sense of self. Because now I'll never be able to slam a basketball in a 10-foot goal. Not even with a ladder. I'll never be able to do it. And because I'll never be able to do it, I'm going to take the energy that I should be investing in being a preacher or a dean and put it over here in trying to be a basketball player. That's just not going to happen. And you want to know what's really deep? Some of you have wasted great energy doing something that's not going to produce what you want your life to look like. Some of you are working jobs that's not going to produce what you want your life to look like. And you go, hey, but it's paying the bills. Yeah, it may be paying the bills, but it is bankrupting your consciousness. It's causing you to become bankrupt in your self-esteem. Yeah, it's paying the bills, but you're bankrupt. Because emotionally, you're not taking the energy and investing it in those actionable items that's going to produce the life you want. Which means, you ready? Sometimes you got to take what appears to be a step back to go forward. Wow. You got to appear to take a step back to go forward. You may have to downsize your life for a minute to get to the life that you can afford for the lifetime. It is important then that you do not take the energy that should be over here. And that's why I'm careful who I'm talking to and who I'm interacting with. Because if I'm taking energy that I should be putting in my wife, or taking energy I should be putting in my church, and putting it in an organization that's not going to produce anything. I remember when I first came here, I wanted to be on committees, and I was on these committees, right? And I was on these committees, and the problem with being on the committees is that I was a terrible committee person, but I love being a pastor. And one day I figured out the committees were for my resume, but they were not for the production of my life. Being on these city commissions didn't do anything for me. Being on certain boards didn't accomplish anything because it just did not give me the fulfillment I needed. So I was just investing. I would go to a meeting. Then if I missed a meeting, I felt bad. And if I was over here doing this, I felt bad that I was doing what I love because I made a commitment over here. And I didn't seem to be a man of integrity. And what I discovered was that I was a man of integrity because I was doing the things I actually loved and the things that actually caused me fulfillment. But I was trying to do things that didn't cause me fulfillment, and that complicated my life. So how many times has your actuable items not been for the sake of the life that you want to build for you, your family, for your community, for your church, for your organization, for your business? You're just doing a whole lot of stuff. Building confidence is committing to actionable items. Here's why. You ready? Everybody write this down. Confidence is built on accomplishment. Confidence is built on accomplishment. Don't get it twisted. You will not have confidence if you keep failing at stuff. You will not have confidence if you don't get some wins in your life. Confidence is built on accomplishment. I will never feel good as a pastor if nobody shows up to anything I do. My confidence has been built because in the pandemic, I was able to get 125 pastors and preachers to commit to seminary on Sunday. That did so much for my confidence. And when I was walking through the dean thing, and I was dealing with confidence issues, it was people reminding me, man, you built seminary on Sunday. You can do this. Are y'all catching this? It's confidence that builds your sense, that is built on accomplishment. So that's why you need to learn to have actionable items that actually are accomplishable. And once you begin to accomplish, then you expand, right? The baby doesn't start out running. The baby starts out crawling. The baby doesn't start out running. The baby starts out walking and falling. The baby doesn't start out running. The baby starts out taking steps. And then one day, the baby begins to run. But the baby doesn't run. They're fasted. When they're 2 and 3, they run their fastest as they get older. So you may even be doing something, but you may not be doing it at the level you're going to do it at, but you're growing in confidence. People who are great public speakers don't start out that way. Most great public speakers start out nervous and afraid and apprehensive and all that kind of stuff, and they grow into it. They grow into it. It's because they get up, they do 5 minutes, and it goes pretty good. And they get up and they do 6 minutes, it goes pretty good. And they get up and they do 9 minutes, and it's not as good as they want. So they go back and they work on it. Then they do 7 minutes. Notice what I did. 5, 6, 9, 7, right? 7, they discover that, okay, and they find their space. Confidence is built on accomplishment. You will have confidence in the area you're created for when you start to get wins, when you start to excel, right? Man, okay. I'm gonna keep talking because I think there's some people I want to invite now. Okay, all right. Here's the next thing. Man, this is helping me like crazy because I think I'm on to something, Ray. I think I'm on to something. Yeah, I think I'm on to something. Okay, all right. Here's the next thing. Build your life on positive values, which now, watch this, build your life on positive values. Okay, that's the principle. Build your life on positive values. But here's why. Because positive values become foundational to positive behavior. Positive values become foundational to positive behavior. Build your life on positive values because positive values become the foundation of positive behavior. When I operate with positive behavior, right? When I am doing the positive thing, right? And I'm trusting the work. I'm trusting of the investments that I'm making. I'm trusting the things that I'm doing, right? When I build it on positive values, then positive values lead to positive decisions, and positive decisions lead to positive outcomes. Did you get the flow? I start with positive values. I make positive decisions. I have positive outcomes. Positive values, right? Build your life on a value system that is positive and healthy and functional. I do positive things, and I end up with positive results. The power of building your life on positive values is that positive values are foundational to success at every sphere. Dr. Gregory Howard, when I was interviewing for the dean position, said something to me as my brother. He said, Dean, he said, John, rather. He said, John, listen, leadership translates into every industry. Leadership translates into every industry. The fact that you have an effective leadership style means that you will be effective in whatever space you're in, because leadership translates into every industry. That's why a military leader can go be a superintendent of schools. That's why a preacher, a pastor, can be the dean of a seminary. That's why a doctor can run a pharmaceutical company, right? That's why a lawyer can oversee an investment firm. Here's why. Because in the most amazing way, when you are committed to positive values, they translate into positive decisions. Positive decisions produce positive outcomes. Got it? John Maxwell. Let me give you the quote from John Maxwell. He says, your core values are deeply held beliefs that authentically describe your soul. Man, when I read that today, I said I got to include that, because he hit a home run on that one. Your core values are deeply held beliefs that authentically describe your soul. They describe your soul. Your core values come out in your decisions, in your words, in your actions. You ain't gotta go deep, and woo stop people. Eventually, they're gonna show you what they really think about you. They're gonna show you where their real emotions and feelings are about you. Just hold tight, stay consistent, and eventually they're gonna show you whether they like you or they don't like you, whether they're loyal or they're not loyal, because there's going to be the acid test, because values ooze out of the pores of interaction. Ooh, that's good right there. Ray, write that down. Your values ooze out of the pores of interaction. Write that down, because I need to post that. Your values ooze out of the pores of interaction. Is that I'm telling you now, you want to know if somebody really on your side? Watch Pastor Blair, how they interact with you as changes happen, as conditions change. When you, as their boss, now have to check them. Okay, y'all were real close when you didn't have to check them. Now you got to check them, and they get an attitude with you, and you go, oh. So we only were good when I was complimenting you. But we ain't good when I got to check you. Oh. So what does that say? You ready? It says that their values do not align in a permanent way with their actions. That's good. Okay. Let's go to number 3. You ready? Number 3 is going to be really good, Viola. You ready? Number 3. And listen, I want to say thank you to Mildred, Kimberly, Don, Lee. You watch every week, and you've been watching through the pandemic. And I want to say thank you. I noticed you, and I just wanted to say thank you. Okay. Third thing. Y'all ready, y'all? Follow through. It ain't that deep. Follow through. Here's why follow through is so important. Follow through is about completing what you promise. Just write that in the thread. Completing what you promise. Completing what you promise. Whether it's to you, whether it's to somebody else, whether it's a task given on your job, follow through is completing what you promise. Completing what you signed up for. That's why I'll be very transparent. I don't listen. I love y'all. I love y'all. But I'm to a point. I don't want nobody who goes St. Paul tell me, Bishop, I'm gonna be with you forever, because people tend to prove that ain't true. Life changes, and this changes, and that changes, right? And so the importance of follow through is don't say something you really don't know you can deliver. Now, some of you probably can say it, because some of you are probably that committed and you don't even think about it, right? But I've discovered that whenever you make a promise, the Bible says don't make a vow that you're not planning to keep. Whenever you make a promise, you're now obligated by God to finish that promise. So if somebody promises something, and then all of a sudden conditions change and they change, that means they were never wedded to the promise. They were wedded to the condition being a certain way so the promise would be achieved. Okay. They were never wedded to the promise. They were wedded to the conditions by which they made the promise in. So what they should have said was, as long as you're nice to me, and as long as you do what I ask you to do, I will be a faithful spouse. The moment you stop doing that, I'm not going to be a faithful spouse anymore. That's why I tell people in marriage, for us, I have people write their own vows. I don't make anybody recite the vows, the traditional vows. Hey, my daughter, Apostle Newell, look at you, right? I don't make anybody recite traditional vows, because you may not want to do love, honor, and obey. You may not be in it for death, in sickness and in health. There may be some conditions that you change your commitment level. And if that's the case, then have the integrity to say, I have a conditional commitment to you. I will be a member of St. Paul. I will be a part of KFI. I will be a part of advancing the kingdom, as long as it does this. Now, when it stops doing this, or when it no longer makes me feel like this, then, or if this happens, I'm not going to be a part. But and let me tell you why this is important. Because your integrity has to be bound by your words. Listen, I know a whole lot of us have fallen into the Donald Trump spear, which is you lie and you lie. I can't understand how people are following him. They know he lies, right? And so we're going to pay for it, because God's word is still true. No matter what, no matter who's sitting in power, God's word is still true. But the thing that's so deep is that we're living in a day and time where you don't have to keep your word, where you can explain away your word. This is what I discovered. You will never fulfill the purpose of God if you live in conditional commitment. You'll never fulfill the will of God, because there will come a testing season, and you will have to decide if you're going to pay the price. You have to decide if you're going to pay the price. If keeping your word is worth that. God, I thank you for this. Watch this. Bob Buford once wrote, don't dream big, follow through. Don't just dream big, follow through. There you go. Don't just dream big, right? Don't sit around going, oh, I'm going to build this $2 million house, and then you don't do anything to build a house. You wait on the lottery. No, follow through, which means, write this in the thread, process is your best friend. Process is my best friend. Write it like that. Process is my best friend. When you talk about following through, you talk about process is my best friend. Right? Process is my best friend. So let me show you some things about following through. It's 6:33. I'm not trying to keep y'all the way I did last week. Watch this. First thing is get clear on what needs to happen. Get clear. Hey, Pastor Foreman, get clear on what needs to happen. Get clear, right? Get clear. Diane Bethel, what needs to happen, Deidre, for me to get here? Peggy, what needs to happen for me to get here? Get clear on what needs to happen. Yeah, get clear on what needs to happen. Here's why. Because when the steps become muddled, you'll still be focused because you're clear. If I'm riding and I run into a storm and I'm clear that I'm trying to get to Jacksonville, Florida from Virginia, the storm is not going to inhibit me from reaching my goal because I'm clear on what I want to happen and I'm clear on what needs to happen. That's called process. I'm clear on what needs to happen, right? And so there's steps and stages. And as I'm building my confidence, I'm walking through every step and stage. But here's the other thing. Attach urgency to each task. Man, I love this stuff, man. God, I have so much fun. Wow, I love this stuff. Attach urgency to each task. What does that mean? It's really simple. Leave that up for a minute, Ray, for me. Attaching urgency to each task means that whatever is clear, whatever I know is clear, I now attach urgency to it. I'm clear that in order to buy a house, I gotta save at least 7% of the total value of the house. Some cases I may have to save 10%. I know that if I want to do this, I got to save this. Now, I identify how to get that done based upon what I presently understand as my resources and my inlets into my life. So I've got a goal. I've determined that I want to buy a house. Now I identify the resources and identify the possibilities. So I got to save. I now attach urgency to saving. Okay, I want to lose weight or I want to get healthier, and I know I've got to do this. I got to change my eating habits, right? So now I attach better eating to this goal, to this process, right? I want to grow my church. That's the goal. I discovered that in order to do that, I need to work through schools. Now I attach, ready, Brandy? Y'all getting it? Urgency to what's going to produce the goal. Some of you ain't urgent enough. You're too laissez-faire. You're too laid back. You too ain't in no hurry. And you're getting older and older and older, but you're not urgent. Urgent. You got to get urgent about this stuff. Because age does not have a stop sign that it adheres to. So you got to start saying now, well, okay, if I'm 40-something or I'm 30-something and I want to be here by 50-something, okay, I got to get urgent about getting my education, or I got to get urgent about making some lifestyle changes, or I got to get urgent about restructuring my leadership, or I got to get urgent about this. Urgency, get urgent about it. Attach urgency to the task. Some of y'all too laissez-faire. Some of y'all too lazy. Some of y'all are too... And that weakens your confidence because you're not seeing anything moving because you're not moving the things that need to be moved. Urgency. Okay. Y'all ready? Here's the next thing. Maximize external pressure. Maximize external pressure. This is huge now, because sometimes internally you don't have it to press through. Sometimes internally you don't really trust who you are. Sometimes internally you don't feel the motivation. So there's some external pressure. And when I use the word pressure, I'm not talking about the kind of pressure that brings you to a nervous breakdown, heart attack. I'm talking about the kind of inducing of behavior that will change internally so that it manifests itself externally. It's the inducing of the kind of, it's the wife who wants the husband to be healthy. Yeah, I got one of those. And they exude or exert pressure. It's the teacher that wants the student to be successful, and they exert pressure. They push them. It's the boss that wants the employee to be successful. It's the coach, and we see this a lot in athletics, that wants the player to be successful. Most coaches don't holler at reserves. They holler at the starters. Because if you're 12th on the bench, you really ain't going to determine the outcome of most games. You will get in when the game is already determined. So what the coach does is the coach says to the starting point guard or the starting quarterback or the starting left linebacker, when they make a mistake, the coach says, come here, come here. Then the coach corrects them. Why? Because you only correct what helps you win. You only put pressure on what helps you win. I'm not going to put pressure on something that doesn't help me win, and I'm not going to put pressure on somebody that can't help me get better. If you can't help me accomplish the dream of KFI, you ain't going. I'm not going to put no pressure on you, but I'm going to put pressure on John Blair. I'm going to put pressure on Audrey Newell. I'm put pressure on John. I put pressure on the folk who can help KFI accomplish. It's certain people I'll never put pressure on the St. Paul, because they show me they ain't committed to us winning. But Scott Cotton, I'll put pressure on Scott Cotton. I'll put pressure on Gerard Bell. Yeah. I'll put pressure on Brandy Bell. I'll put pressure on Sherry. I'll put pressure on Bob. I'll put pressure on people. And so when folks start to ignore, listen, if you're in a group text and all of a sudden people start to ignore you, that means they no longer think you're an influence. If you're part of an organization and all of a sudden nobody really puts any stress on your voice, or if you are a part and you see a demand being placed on you, that means they see you as valuable. So you got to maximize external pressure. How do you do that? Here it is. I've been saying this the last few weeks. Get an accountability partner. For years, when I first started preaching, Kurt T. Houston was my accountability partner. Every week, I didn't preach a sermon that I didn't talk to Kurt Houston about. He was the guy that could tell me that's stupid. Don't do that. He was the guy that could tell me that works, but let's tweak this. There are times when I have to preach certain sermons or certain settings, and I'll call Jerry Carter and say, hey, man, what you think? You need accountability partners. I'll call my son-in-law. Hey, man, I'm thinking about this. You need accountability partners. I'll call Triplet. You need accountability partners. When I got ideas, I bounce it off people that I trust. Ray's one of them, Cotton. Ray, Sharon, Ron, definitely my wife, accountability partners. Secondly, hire a life coach, and I just thought of a new phrase, or enlist an inspirational influencer. They made me cough. An inspirational influencer. What is that? That's just what it is. It's somebody who inspires you, but they have influence in your life and they inspire you. You need people who Pastor Foreman can put external pressure on you. His last thing, create a mastermind group. Create a group of people who are in your life, who work with you, but they specialize in certain areas. They ain't all the same. They specialize in certain areas, right? So follow through. Don't just dream big, follow through. Get clear about what needs to happen. Attach urgency to it, and then maximize external pressure. Here's the fourth thing. Think long term. Think long term. Listen, I'm trying to help everybody around me to understand. You know, when people hear me say I got 8 years left, they don't understand. You know, but I don't want to lose you, Pastor. I get it. I love you. But here's what you don't get. I'm thinking beyond you. Because if I only think you, when time comes for you to want to be beyond you, I'm not going to be prepared. Like our middle daughter, our youngest daughter, she's 12th grader now. Almost every week I asked her, okay, what school you going to? Have you made up your mind? Have you filled out applications? Why? Because I don't want it to be May. I want it to be April. I want it to be November. Why? So we can plan for her. Wow. Some of you have got to get past thinking short term as your only way of interpreting your life and the aspects of your life and your existence. You got to start thinking long term. So, what is long term? Long term means you are comfortable envisioning and consciously working towards the future. You are comfortable envisioning and consciously working towards the future. Listen, I'm trying to, everybody's asking me, what are you gonna do when you retire from this and from the school? And I jokingly say I'm gonna be sitting on the beach, right? Be sitting on the beach. But I also know that I'm gonna have to do some other things. Well, what I'm learning in higher ed, what I know as a pastor, I'm marrying them, and I'm gonna be able to do some consulting from my house. Right? And if I do travel, my wife's going to travel with me, and I'm just going to go, and I'm going to go make a difference. Well, I'm going to have the resources intellectually to be able to do that. So retirement's not going to catch me. No. And if I can help you grow, I'm trying to help you understand. Don't let the future catch up to you. Don't let the future catch up to you. And then one day the future becomes your present, but all you got is your past. The future's running, right? But eventually the future's going to stop and let you walk into it. And it's going to be called your present. So let me suggest a couple of things, and then I'll close. Be aware of the consequences of not planning. Understand that if you're not planning, and again, one of the things that I try to get people to understand, is whatever is going to secure your future, that's what you need to be focusing on. It gets to a point, and I need y'all to get this. God, I need y'all to wake up and get this. It gets to a point that you got to stop trying to be cute with your life because you want people to see the optics. Devil is a lie. Here's one thing I love about sports. LeBron James, Michael Jordan, or whoever else you want to choose, they'll start out passing the ball, right? Making it, but man, when they get to the fourth quarter, it's 3 minutes left. Kobe Bryant didn't have no teammates. He had a goal, win. Because Kobe Bryant's attitude was, I'm not going to sit around here and lose this game, fool around with y'all. So he started taking the shots. He started becoming a playmaker. You got to get to the point that you understand that if you ain't really planning for your present, for your future, when your future stops and you run into it, you can't blame nobody but you because you did not urgently live out your life knowing what you needed to do because you're trying to be cute. My wife and I know that in this season, I got to grind for our future. We got stuff we want to do. I got to grind for our future. I ain't got time not to grind. I got to grind. So we know what we got to do for us to get to a place where we can be at the place we want to be. All right. Here's the next thing. You got to be resilient. I'm not going to say nothing about it. You know what resilience means. Here's the next one. You got to be reflective as you're walking out. As you're walking something out. Reflect as you're walking. Why? Because you always want to be thinking about where you want your life to go. So you got to reflect as you're walking something out. You got to be looking at it. You got to be evaluating it. You got to be seeing the bigger picture, right? All right. Here, the last two things. Transcend the court of opinion. Transcend the court of opinion. What does that mean? Don't let people with no fruit advise you on how to grow something. Don't let people who are negative in their own life be the ones who try to speak directly to your life. Transcend the court of opinion. I learned this when I was in seminary, right? Sam Roberts taught about the court of public opinion. Transcend the court of opinion. Transcend it, right? Listen to the people who you know love you and has your best interests at heart. Okay, finally, number 6. Embrace affirmation as a part of character building. Embrace affirmation as a part of character building. What does that mean? Lordy have mercy. This is what that means. Don't reject people speaking into your life and be open to be an affirmer as much as you are the person who receives. It builds character because nobody needs to hear how wrong they are all the time. Builds character. Today, a dear friend of mine, he buried his lovely wife. The guy who preached the sermon is someone I preached for and I've known for a number of years. He's dealing with his own situation. Great guy. I got his number and I texted him after the sermon. Great sermon, Bishop Brown. And I could tell they was excited to hear it. Dr. William Curtis, who's one of my dearest friends in the world, was the worship leader. Did an amazing job of managing a painful service with dignity. I texted him, man, great job. Great job, man. He said it was painful. I said, I see. But you handled it with dignity and integrity. Can I tell you what that does for your confidence? Don't be stingy with the encouragement and then be frustrated when you don't get any. Dr. Jerry Carter said this to me the other day. He said, I made a decision that whenever I think of something that somebody does that's good, I'm going to call them and tell them, I think you did good today. Got it. Here's the other piece. Start accepting affirmation better. Your confidence needs to be built up. Start accepting it. So, here's my challenge to you for the rest of the week. Whenever you think of something that somebody's done that's good, send them a text. Sow a $5 seed. You cash app them. Say, hey, you bless me, right? Or, you know what? I was thinking about what you did 2 weeks ago. It was really good. I just want you to know. Or I saw you at work today. You were really on top of your game. Create that atmosphere around your life. And everything's going to go much better. Listen, I love you guys. I thank y'all so much for watching. I am going to lay down now. I literally have not laid down because I've been preparing for this today. So I love you guys. I'm going to lay down now. Thank you so much for watching. And men, Pastor Foreman, myself, Pastor Brian Campbell, Pastor Ardell Jones, we are preparing for our men's event in August 27th. And we're really excited. We're really excited. Thank you all so much. I love you. Thank you. Thank you, son. Thank you, Pastor Blair. Thank you. Thank you all. Again, this Sunday at St. Paul Church, we will be celebrating my 37 years of preaching. I've been preaching 37 years, and we'll be celebrating it this Sunday. 37 years. Can't nobody make me not give God praise Sunday for 37 years. Whew. Thank you, Lord. So I hope you'll join us. If you're somewhere in Jacksonville or nearby, I hope you'll come to St. Paul and celebrate with me my 37 years. Be blessed, everybody. We'll see you this week. Go build confidence, then walk it out. Take care.